Hey folks, what's up? Coach Patrick here, Endurance Nation, back with another just quick coach tip for you guys. In the past, I've done lots of different conversations around being race ready, being training ready, being really smart. One of the things that we like to do inside the team, specifically to make us better athletes, is to do a better job of outthinking our former self. So one of the collectives, one of the benefits of being part of the collective of the team is that you have the experience of everyone else to learn of, right? I think there's a quote out there that says, any fool can learn from their own mistakes. The important thing is to learn from the mistakes of others, right? And so the sooner you can do that, the better you can do that. And with precisely what we focus on inside Endurance Nation, the better you'll be. Rather than you having to waste your first 8 Ironmans like I did, let me waste them and you get smarter. You only waste 2 and then you're off and running to the races, right? So speaking of races, this upcoming weekend, I'm gonna be doing a race, an Ironman race, and getting ready for an Ironman race is a nightmare. So one of the ways that we solve that inside the team is by using checklists. So we have master checklists that go through everything from all the things you need to pack to everything you need to do in the last 5 days, and even down to the details of creating a race plan and figuring out what are all the things that you need to do to be successful on the race itself and really be able to get out there and just, kind of crush it, right? So we want to take all of our mental energy and dive that into what it means to be specifically good for the race as opposed to, wasting it elsewhere. And so one of the biggest challenges for me has consistently been that even though I've packed everything that I need for the race, I always end up being in a place where I've got to put it all together and I've got to do it on race day. So there I am in a hotel room, locked down. If my family's with me, I've sent them away, and I'm basically trying to spend the next chunk of time putting all my stuff together, being like, this goes in a transition bag, this goes in a special needs bag, this is where everything goes. Well, it's a nightmare, right? Because they give you bags, they're colored bags. So I take my goggles, I put them in a swim bag, and then I spend the next 20 minutes walking around looking for my goggles because they're in that swim bag. What a nightmare, right? So this time around, I did something a little bit different. And what I did this time was take my checklists for each of my transition and special needs bags. I wrote them down myself with items that I wanted. I printed them out, and then I ended up taping them to gigantic Ziploc bags. And then I packed my bags before I left my house. That's right. So this bag here, well, that's T1. We'll get to that in a minute. So this is my morning clothes bag that I have here with my list of items on my morning clothes bag. Inside you will see I've got my goggles. I've got a pair of socks for after the race even. I've got the goggle stuff to make sure there's no fog. I've got my headlamp for the morning in transition. I've got chamois cream, gotta stay lubed all the time. All that stuff, all good to go in this bag. I'm gonna put it in my suitcase and I can take it out. When I get to the race venue, I'm all set. T1 bag, also similarly set. Of course, I don't have my bike shoes or my helmet inside this bag, but I've never forgotten my bike shoes or my helmet for a race, but I have forgotten, let me see, I've forgotten, here we go, hold on a second. Let's see what's special for this race, right? Like what's going on inside this bag. This time around, it's gonna be cold, so I've got my arm warmers rolled up so I can pull them on in transition. I've got gloves. I've got cycling gloves this time, so I wanna make sure those are all good to go, right? What else do I have in here? Oh, I've got my salt pills, which I always put inside my pocket in T1. I used to swim with those, no good. I've got a pair of contacts that I tape to the inside of my transition bag so I can't lose them on site, so that in case I do lose my contacts or goggles come off, I've got a pair of contacts in there for me. This time around, I've even got some hand warmers because it's going to be chilly. These are going to go on top of my cycling shoes, but underneath a toe cover so that as I'm riding along, they're going to be keeping the tips of my toes warm depending on how cold it is. All that done now instead of stressing out when I get there. Let's see, what else do I have here? Special needs for the bike is the next order of business. To me, the special needs bike is probably the most important bag. I've forgotten all sorts of stuff, but special needs bike is the stuff that really freaks me out. Like I wanna make sure I've got all my stuff. And because I've got unique stuff on my bicycle, I can't find it necessarily everywhere that I go. So there is the list. You can freeze the screen for my bag. I don't have the CO2 in here because you can't travel with CO2. But what else do I have in here? I've got extra nutrition. Should I drop my nutrition when I'm riding? It comes out of my pocket, comes out of my bento, whatever, I lose it. I know at special needs, I've got the excess nutrition, salt pills, things that I need. And then most importantly, I've got tubes with the valve extenders on them. I have 2 of them, one for front, one for back. Should I run into a flat, when I get on site, I'll put a CO2 cartridge in there as well. Those go in my special needs bag. So if I do have to change a flat out on the course, I can just pick up a spare, throw it in my back pocket. That way I will not be stopped. I have 2 spare tubes on my bike with the CO2 requisite there, and now I'll have 2 more here. I'd have to get 4 flat tires to stop me. dear, sweet, tiny baby Jesus, do not let me get 4 flat tires on race day. Next transition is T2, right? And this is really, really important for me. Inside Endurance Nation, the magic is where it all goes down. It goes down for us on the run, right? So we say there's no such thing as a good bike followed by a bad run. So the bike sets up the run, and the run has to be excellent. So there's lots of different components about the run that I want. I've got my Ventum hat because I gotta represent, and I love that hat. I have my race number belt, which I've hacked here, the good old fuel belt here for me. I've got my gels already in there for the run. I've got my hip pouch here on the side. I'm gonna put my race number on there when I get on site. Inside, let's go deep inside the hip pouch. What's inside the hip pouch? Inside the hip pouch, I have 2 different types of Cliff Blocks. A huge fan of Cliff Blocks, love these bad boys. Kind of like give yourself a little sugar reward every couple miles, 2 miles for me. These are the new salted watermelon ones, super delicious. Definitely recommend you don't buy them so I can buy all of them. And then of course in here I also have super duper stomach, secret weapon, hot days, cold days, my Gator Lights. You can put a packet of these inside a cup of Coke and slam that bad boy and get all the electrolytes. What does this bad boy have in it right now? One of these has 0 calories, 0 fat, I love it already. It's got 0 cholesterol, so good for you. 780 milligrams of sodium. It's got 400 milligrams of potassium, no carbs, no fibers, no sugars, no proteins, no vitamins, nothing, just salt, potassium, stuff that we need right in there. Really helps settle the gut and keeps your system functioning as well. So that stays inside my pouch. I'll definitely break those out. I usually have one of those depending on the day, depending how I feel, maybe 1 an hour. Of course, I will have those salt pills still with me, but that's a good backup damage control situation for me. On top of that, I have my socks for T2 because I run with socks for sure. I do have backup salt pills as well in case I've lost all my salt on the bike. Sometimes I don't like the Gator Lights. Sometimes I want these. So I've got those backup salts as well. And then finally, I've got my nifty little headband. I haven't decided if I'm gonna wear this again like Kona. Instead of wearing a hat, I might wear a headband. We'll see what the temperatures are like and where I'm at. But that all goes into my bag, and I'll reorganize this on site. And this bag itself will become my go bag, the Endurance Nation renowned go bag, which I will take with me out of transition and self-serve as I go. Thanks. You guys almost messed me up. I got all packed up and I didn't put my Cliff Blocks back in there. God, look at that. Just any chance to get, I'm gonna try and mess it up on myself. It's crazy. All right, so then last but not least, we have special needs for the run. I rarely ever stop the special needs on the run, but it's always good to have some stuff there just in case. So what do you need? So for me, special needs on the run, pretty lightweight. I've got some extra Gator Lights. I drop them, I forget them. I forget that I have them. Sometimes I finished a race and said, if I'd only had food. And then I get home and put all my stuff out on the bed and I say, I was carrying 10 pounds of food the whole time. I had no idea. Sometimes you need to see it to use it. So I've got extra inside that bag. I've got extra gels as well with some caffeine and extra caffeinated Cliff Blocks as well. And of course, I've got my list right on the outside of that bag, so I'm good to go. So the lesson learned here, folks, is that you too can become a better racer, have a better time traveling, just be better experience overall by just getting smarter and making incremental steps. Inside Endurance Nation, we do a great job of supporting you and educating you and helping you to become a better athlete by smartly iterating from season to season, from race to race, so that by the time you get to that 3rd year inside Endurance Nation, when you're looking to be serious, you're looking to race top notch, everything you want, you've got all these systems in place and you're rocking and rolling. If you have your own special transition bag tips or thoughts or whatever else it is that you've got for me, please put it in the comments on this video. I'd love to hear it from you guys. This is, quite frankly, one of the more important parts of the race. You hate getting on site and finding out you don't have valve extenders. You don't have your extra latex tubes. You forgot your magical hat or whatever it is. All those things, you can remember them if you have a checklist, you take the time and you do it right. That's it for me, Coach Patrick signing off. Wishing all of my teammates good luck in racing this weekend, whether you are swimming, biking, running, climbing, ultra distancing, whatever it may be. Have a blast out there, be safe, and of course, be smart. I'll see you guys.